Greetings to all of you, my dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Yadi. Awareness. How happiness happens. Come home to yourself. Observe yourself. That's why I said earlier that self-observation is such a delightful and extraordinary thing. After a while, you don't have to make any effort because as illusions begin to crumble, you begin to know things that cannot be described. It's called happiness. Everything changes and you become addicted to awareness. There's a story of the disciple who went to the master and said, "Could you give me a word of wisdom? Could you tell me something that would guide me through my days?" It was the master's day of silence, so he picked up a pad. It said, "Awareness." When the disciple saw it, he said, "This is too brief. Can you expand on it a bit?" So the master took back the pad and wrote, "Awareness, awareness, awareness." The disciple said, "Yes, but what does it mean?" The master took back the pad and wrote, "Awareness, awareness, awareness means awareness." That's what it is to watch yourself. No one can show you how to do it, because he would be giving you a technique, he would be programming you. But watch yourself. When you talk to someone, are you aware of it, or are you simply identify with it? When you got angry with somebody, were you aware that you were angry, or were you simply identifying with your anger? Later, when you had the time, did you study your experience and attempt to understand it? Where did it come from? What brought it on? I don't know of any other way to awareness. You only change what you understand. What you do not understand and are not aware of, you repress. There's a famous story about the lion who came upon the flock of sheep and to his amaze found a lion among the sheep. It was a lion who had been brought up by the sheep ever since he was a cub. It would blab like a sheep and run around like a sheep. The lion went straight for him, and when the sheep lion stood in front of the real one, he trembled in every limb. And the lion said to him, "What are you doing among these sheep?" And the sheep lion said, "I am a sheep." And the lion said, "Oh, you're not. You're coming with me." So he took the sheep lion to a pool and said, "Look." And when the sheep lion looked at his reflection in the water, he let out a mighty roar, and in that moment, he was transformed. He was never the same again. There's a lovely saying of Trengsu, a great Chinese sage. that I will give you. When the archer shoots for no particular prize, he has all his skills. When he shoots to win a brace buckle, he is already nervous. When he shoots for a gold prize, he goes blind, sees two targets, and is out of his mind. His skills has not changed, but the prize divided him. He cares. He thinks more of winning than of shooting, and the need to win drains him of power. Isn't that an image of what most people are? When you're living for nothing, you've got all your skills, you've got all your energies. You're relaxed, you don't care. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Now there's a human living for you. That's what life is all about. That can only come from awareness. And in awareness, you will understand that honor doesn't mean a thing. It's a social convention, that's all. That's why the mystics and the prophets didn't bother one bit about it. Honor or disgrace meant nothing to them. They were living in another world, in the world of the awakened. Success or failure meant nothing to him. They had the attitude, I am an ass, you're an ass, so where's the problem? And someone once said the three most difficult things for a human being are not physical feats or intellectual achievements. They are, first, returning love for hate. Second, including the excluded. Third, admitting that you are wrong. But these are the easiest things in the world if you haven't identified with the me. You can say things like, I'm wrong. If you knew better, you'd say how often I'm wrong. What would you expect from an ass? But if I haven't identified with these aspects of me, you can't hurt me. Initially, the old conditions will kick in and you will be depressed and anxious. You'll grieve, cry, and so on. Before enlightenment, I used to be depressed. After enlightenment, I continue to be depressed. But there's a difference. I don't identify with it anymore. Do you know what a big difference that is? You step outside of yourself and look at that depression and don't identify with it. You don't do a thing to make it go away. You are perfectly willing to go and with your life with while it passes through you and disappears. If you don't know what that means, you really have something to look forward to. An anxiety, there it comes. And you're not troubled. How strange. You're anxious, but you're not troubled. Isn't that a paradox? And you're willing to let this cloud come in because the more you fight it, the more power you give it. Isn't that crazy? You can't be happy in your anxiety. It's not that crazy. You can be happy in your depression, but you can't have the wrong notion of happiness. Did you think happiness was excitement or thrills? That's what causes the depression. Didn't anyone tell you that? You're thrilled, all right, but you're just repairing the way for your next depression. You're thrilled, but you pick up the anxiety behind that. How can I make it last? That's not happiness. as an addiction. Jesus was talking horse sense to lay people, to starving people, to poor people. He was telling them good news. It's yours for taking. But who's listening? No one's interested. They'd rather be asleep. Excuse me. I'm still thinking about the story about the lion, the sheep lion. Give it a thought, my dear ones. It's not a discouragement, it's not a disgrace, it's not a negative saying. When you listen very carefully to what I was saying, it's lifting you up, it's bringing you to an enlightenment, to understand how happiness happens. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yadi. Bye.